Hey everyone, Nella back for video number three on subject of turning my two cats into dolls. Yes, can hold that as a hand. Mostly because I really want to have this guy as a doll. I know that sounds a bit creepy and a bit weird, but considering on my boyfriend's Sims game, we actually tried to make human versions of my cats, and it was his idea, not mine. The pet madness, it spreads. It's not like like the idea hasn't crossed my mind before. What can I say? Pets have very distinctive personalities, which I guess makes it really easy to both talk and think about them as if they're people, or as if they could be people, or could look as people. So if you see that I'm a little bit distracted, it's because I am petting him. Yes, aren't you happy now? Yes, you are. So, as much as I love his sister as well, because she is so beautiful. She's stupid, but she's pretty and she's somehow endearing. Even though she's a total neurotic diva. She's special. It's actually really him that I want to have a doll of. Just because I can imagine his personality going well with the characters of the Curiosity Shop. Not that I actually think he would live in a Curiosity Shop. Maybe, but I will tell you the idea that sprung into my head when I decided to actually make this video. And the idea is this. Finian, my little boy Tiny, if I haven't mentioned before, is a voracious reader of adventure novels and adventure comics. This is in part where he gets his ideas to go adventuring, that running off to save towns when you have no idea how to combat monsters is actually a good idea. And in thinking about that, I was going, well, what sort... I actually started getting ideas for the books and comics that Finn reads. And to give you a little idea of how I come up with secondary characters, I find songs that, for whatever reason, usually because they tell some sort of story, that I kind of form a secondary character, a very, very minor character around that song. And I go, okay, this is the song. What does the person, what is the personality of the person that is singing the song, or that this song is about? How do they react to things? I find it really works for minor characters, because it means that they're often one-dimensional, but if I decide to make them into something more important, I can kind of add on. And that original song, the original cornerstone, becomes like their theme song. And one song that I've really gone into recently is Let's Not Pretend to Be New Men by Crooked Fingers. And in listening to some of the lyrics, I started coming up with a character from one of Finn's adventure novels. So it's a recurring character in Finn's adventure novel, but it's not the main character. Because Finn identifies with the main character, usually. Sometimes he identifies more with the assistant or the page character, but usually Finn sees himself as the knight in shining armor or the big hero. But one of the reoccurring characters in a serialized adventure story that Finn reads, that's from... Okay, I'm not sure if any of you ever have seen the Black's Boys Annual. Wait a moment. I think I do have 2 of those. I'll be right back so I can show that to you. This is a Blackie's Boys Annual. It's a collection. There's the side. It was an annual collection of interesting scientific articles, legends, and fiction stories, basically to inspire boys to be great men of society. They usually had a lot of morals, and basically taught you, like, this is how you be a good man, this is how you be a good citizen, this is how you be a good father, a good brother, a good son, all of those things. This is the sort of thing I imagine Finn reading a lot of. How does this connect in with the character of my tomcat as envisioned as a doll? Okay, let me ask you all a question. It's a rhetorical question, but if you want, you can answer in the comments. Have you ever read a book and found that you actually liked one of the secondary characters better than the main characters? That something about one of the recurring secondary characters seemed more intriguing, more mysterious, just plain more interesting. That's what Finn has happened with one of his adventure novels, which is serialized in magazines. So Finn has all of these magazines, and it's about every month, every few weeks actually. I think it's bi-weekly. And one of the reoccurring characters is this really morally gray character named Hunter, or at least I temporarily named him Hunter, who isn't one of the bad guys, but he isn't one of the good guys. He really wants to be one of the good guys, but the problem is the good guys won't let him, because Hunter has done bad things in the past, and because he's done things that the heroes don't agree with in the past. So they don't really trust Hunter when he says, no, guys, I actually want to do good and help you this time. So they go, yeah, sure you do, Hunter. Just like you did last time when you stabbed us in the back. And Hunter goes, I didn't stab you in the back. I was fulfilling a contract for something else. You guys just got caught in the crossfire, but I tried to help you out and prevent you guys from being hurt. And they go, yeah, sure you did, Hunter. Sure you did. So as much as Hunter tries to be good because of the circumstances he's in, he kind of has to work for the, not really the big bads, but you know, the kind of general bads, the criminals. And the reason why Hunter does this, as much as he is a good guy, or tries to be, it's not really quite a good guy, but he really, really tries hard, is because Hunter, which is a name he chose for himself, Hunter is in a really tough situation. He's essentially having to fend for himself and for his younger half-sister, who is basically defenseless. Hunter has both a kind of a human cat form, which is what his people usually have. They can make their claws appear, but they can also hide their ears, hide their tail, and blend in. His half-sister can't do that. She actually got cursed, and she is stuck in a much more cat-like form. Unfortunately, this has kind of stuck her mentally as kind of more of a kitten. So she's very needy. She's not the brightest, and she doesn't understand how to protect herself. It isn't obvious yet. This is Creamsicle, my tomcat, and his sister Icicle, the beauty with no brains. She's a pretty face, but not much else. So I thought, this is a character that Ben would find really interesting. But I don't want to just write about this character, because that would be fun. But one of the really, really fun things about the Curiosity Shop is there's alternate worlds. What I think about the alternate worlds is sometimes what they're reading as fiction actually is reality somewhere else. So all that background information I gave you on Hunter isn't actually in the adventure stories. That all comes from the real Hunter that exists in another reality. That is the Hunter I want to make a doll out of. There's going to be a 4th video. My apologies, this is turning into a real long series. There will be a 4th video of me showing you both Hunter and his sister, and also explaining why I call Hunter Hunter. Stay tuned.